हरि जय। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावन चारि। यमुना तीरावन चारि। यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावन चारि। यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावन चारि। यमुना तीरावन चारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। कृष्ण चैतन्य हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Shri Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariracharya Ashtotra Shishma Divine Grace Abhay Chanda Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Samshla Prabhupada Ki Jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21, text number 19. So the name of the chapter is Venu Geet, Gopis glorify Krishna's flute. Gago Nayatorudara वेणुस्वने कलपदे स्तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः स्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा पाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं तोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः स्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षण माताजी गागोपकेरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदे तनुभ्रेष्टु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकस्तरुणा निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम् Okay. Ga, the cows. Gopikahe, with the cowherd boys. Anuvanam, to each forest. Nayatoho, leading. Udara, very liberal. Venu Swanehe, by the vibrations of the Lord's flute. Kalapadehe, having sweet tones. Tarunam, of the otherwise non-moving trees. Niryoga Pasha, the ropes for binding the rear legs of the cows. Krita Lakshanayaho, of those two, Krishna and Balaram, who are characterized by Vichitram, wonderful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear friends, as Krishna and Balaram pass through the forest, friends leading their cows, they carry ropes to bind the cows' rear legs at the time of milking. When Lord Krishna plays on his flute, the sweet music causes the moving living entities to become stunned and the non-moving trees to tremble with ecstasy. These things are certainly very wonderful. Once again I'll just read. My dear Krishna, my dear friends, as Krishna and Balaram pass through the forest with their cowherd friends, leading their cows, they carry ropes to bind the cows' rear legs at the time of milking. When Lord Krishna plays on his flute, the sweet music causes the moving living entities to become stunned and the non-moving trees to tremble with ecstasy. These things are certainly very wonderful. Purport. Krishna and Balaram would sometimes wear their cowherding ropes on their heads and sometimes carry them on their shoulders. And thus they were beautifully decorated with all the equipment of cowherd boys. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the ropes of Krishna and Balaram are made of yellow cloth and have clusters of pearls at both ends. Sometimes they wear these ropes around their turbans and the ropes thus become wonderful decorations. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Mitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading this most beautiful chapter from Srimad Bhagavatam, Venu Geet, the gopis glorify Krishna's flute. So every chapter, every verse of Bhagavatam is beautiful, full of transcendental mellows. But especially there are some particular chapters which are very, very sweet and filled with rasa. So this is one of those chapters. The gopis glorify Krishna's flute. Very famous chapter, Venu Geet. And today is the last verse actually spoken by the gopis. So the gopis, they speak 13 verses. And today actually is the last verse we are reading. 19th shloka, and tomorrow 20th verse is the last verse of this chapter, where Shukdev Goswami just summarize and say that in this way Krishna wandered in the forest and the gopis, they thought about Krishna. So in today's verse, the gopis are glorifying, and I'm sure you must have heard that each of these verses are spoken by a particular gopi. So yesterday's verse, who was there in yesterday's class? I don't know if you took up the verse, but the 18th verse, anyone knows what's the verse about? Yeah, about Giriraj, about Govardhana, yes, thank you. So the 18th verse is about the glories of Govardhana. Hantaya Madri Yan Ram Krishna Charna Sparsha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sah Gaur Ganayor Tayoryat Pani Asuyavasa Kandara Kandamuli. So this verse glorifies Govardhana. Who has spoken this verse? Srimati Radharani. Raghunath Das Goswami says this in his Govardhana Dashakam. This is a nice glorification of Govardhana by Raghunath Das Goswami. Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatam. In that he says that this particular verse, Haridas Varyo. So Srimati Radharani speaks this verse and she glorifies Giriraj, Govardhana. Oh, look at this Govardhana. The best of all devotees of Krishna. Because Govardhana becomes jubilant by receiving the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. And Govardhana serves the cows by giving beautiful grasses. It gives beautiful waterfalls, sweet water for Krishna to drink. The cowherd boys, the cows to drink that water. Nice soft grass, nice fruits and roots, and also nice caves. Air conditioned, naturally air conditioned. Cool during summer and warm during winters. These air conditions we're using, but we're making atmosphere more and more hotter by global warming. Right? But those caves were natural air conditioned in Govardhana. So in this way, Govardhana is expert in serving Krishna, Balaram and his dear cows. So therefore Srimati Radharani is glorifying Govardhana. Oh Govardhana, you're the best of all the devotees of Krishna. And today is the last verse. I don't know which gopi has spoken, but definitely one of the exalted gopis has spoken this verse, where it is said, where she says, my dear friends, so as Krishna and Balaram are passing through the forest, what they are carrying? Ropes to bind the legs of the cows while milking. I don't know if you have experience. When you milk the cows has a tendency to kick with the back leg. The bucket may fall down, while milking. So normally the cowherd boys, they tie the back two legs of the cow with a rope. So Krishna and Balaram, they carry that rope also along with them. It's called Niryoga Pasha. Ropes for binding the rear legs of the cows. And Krishna looks so beautiful. In our decoration, Krishna Balaram Shringar, have you noticed sometimes? Is he having today? I have not noticed. Sometimes you will see Krishna and Balaram carrying rope. Or sometimes you must have seen the turban also. They have some ropes. So that is that rope that Krishna carries as a sign. Krishna is a perfect cowherd boy. So it's not that Krishna is playing the role of a cowherd boy. No. Krishna is a cowherd boy. That is his original ontological position. Which is something only the Gaudiya Vaishnavas can understand. How the Supreme Absolute Truth, from whom everything has come, the entire existence, all the energy, spiritual, material, entire spiritual universe, entire material creation, everything comes from Krishna, who is absolute truth, as spoken in the first verse of Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya. So that very absolute truth is actually a cowherd boy. That is his ontological position, that is his natural position. It's not that Krishna is acting like a cowherd boy. Sometimes, in the beginning we thought, oh, Krishna is just doing Leela of a cowherd boy. No, Krishna is a cowherd boy, Gopal. That is his transcendental form. Gopal, Govinda, Madhi Purusham, Tamam Bhajami. So this form of Krishna as Gopal, Govinda, that is his original form. And he is perfect in that. He carries flute, he is carrying a cowherd stick, he carries rope. So he is a perfect cowherd boy, Krishna. So this rope he is using to tie the cows. So we can also, sometimes this thought came that we are all tied in this world by the ropes of illusion, by the shackles of Maya. How good it will be if Krishna can also tie us with his rope that he is carrying, He is actually carrying this rope too. He wants to tie us, but we are not willing. The moment we pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, please attract my heart and also tie me with your rope. So Krishna will accept our prayers. So this is about the rope that Krishna is carrying. And in the purport it is mentioned, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the rope is made sometimes out of yellow cloth, very shiny silky cloth, with pearls at the ends. So it's not ordinary rope that Krishna is carrying, but a rope made out of silk cloth with pearls tied on it. And sometimes he ties it around his turban, around his head, and it looks even all the more beautiful. So this is about the rope that Krishna is carrying. And then Krishna's flute, of course, which is the main theme of this chapter, Flute of Krishna. So what it does, something amazing, this has been summarized in this verse. Aspandanam gatimatam pulakas tarunam. So those living entities who can move, they become stunned. That means they stop moving. Like for example, the calves, they move a lot. But when they hear Krishna's flute, they stop. The birds, they fly usually. But when the birds, they hear Krishna's flute, they close their eyes and they start meditating and hear Krishna's flute. It's mentioned in this chapter in various verses. So the birds, deers, cows, they usually move all the time. But when they hear Krishna's flute, they stop. It is said that calves, they take some milk in their mouth and they can't even drink that milk. They're just stunned hearing Krishna's flute. The cows, they're eating grass and have grass in the mouth and they can't chew. They're completely stunned hearing Krishna's flute. So attractive. So this is the effect on the moving entities. The demigods, the wives of the demigods, they are flying in the sky. They stop the moment they hear Krishna's flute. Amazing, just reflect on it a little. And those who normally don't move, they start moving. Like the trees. Trees don't move normally, they're fixed. But the tree starts shaking in ecstasy when they hear Krishna's flute. Stone doesn't move, but the stone starts melting hearing Krishna's flute. This is the miraculous effect of Krishna's flute on each and every living entity in this universe. Even non-moving living entities, like even stones. which may not be actually living entity, or sometimes it is said that the soul is dormant in the form of a stone, but whatever it is. When stone starts melting, hearing Krishna's flute. Yamuna, which normally moves, it stops flowing, hearing Krishna's flute vibration. It's like everything comes to a standstill because everybody wants to absorb themselves completely in hearing Krishna's flute vibrations. Venu Gita. So this is so amazing, the sound of Krishna's flute. In Chaitanya Charitamrita we read a few verses where Sanatan Goswami, yesterday was interestingly Sanatan Goswami's disappearance day, and we know that where Mahaprabhu instructed Sanatan Goswami? Varanasi. Prayag Rupa Goswami for 10 days, and Varanasi or Kashi for 2 months, 60 days. It's not ordinary, 60 days Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally instructed Sanatan Goswami on the science of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada, in fact, one of the first books he wrote was Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, where he mentions the teachings to Rupa Goswami and teachings to Sanatan Goswami. It's very important for us. So, it's a beautiful section. 19th chapter is teaching to Rupa Goswami, and then 20 to 24, almost 5 chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about Krishna's flute. The instructions by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, it covers everything. And what is the beginning of that instruction? Sanatana Goswami asked the question, Ke Ami? And what's the answer given by Mahaprabhu? Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. So the teaching starts with this fundamental understanding that we are Krishna's servants. And then he talks about the opulences of Krishna, that how Krishna, everything comes from Krishna, various energies of Krishna, how infinite universes come out from the expansion of Krishna. He talks about so many features explaining Krishna's great opulence. And then he starts talking about Krishna's sweetness, his beauty. So first Aishwarya and then Madhurya. So very beautifully explains Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami Krishna's beauty. And as he was explaining Krishna's beauty, he explains the glories of Krishna's flute. So let us read a few verses from here. Madhuram madhuram vapurasya vibhor madhuram madhuram vadanam madhuram madhugandhi mridasmitame tadaho madhuram 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 madhuram. This is a beautiful verse written by Bilvamangal Thakur in Krishna Kandamrit. O my Lord, the transcendental body of Krishna is very sweet, and his face is even sweeter than his body. But his soft smile, which has the fragrance of honey, is sweeter still. So what is the sweetest thing in this creation? Krishna, the body of Krishna. But within Krishna's beautiful body, what is sweetest? His beautiful face. And within his face, what is the sweetest? His smile. Sanatana Krishna Madhurya Amritera Sindhu Moramana Sannipati Sabapite Kare Mati Durdeva Vedyanadaya Eka Bindu. My dear Sanatan, the sweetness of Krishna's personality is just like an ocean of ambrosia. Although my mind is now afflicted by conclusive diseases and I wish to drink that entire ocean, the repressive physician does not allow me to drink even a drop. Krishnanga lavanya pura madhur hoite sumadhura tate yei mukha sudhakara madhur hoite sumadhura taha hoite sumadhura tara yei smita josna bhara. Krishna's body is a city of attractive features, is a city of loveliness. Just see the poetic words, So Krishna's body is a city of beauty, attractive features. But in that city, what is the most beautiful thing? Krishna's face, which is like a moon, which is sweeter. And the supremely sweet, gentle smile on that moon-like face is like rays of moonshine. So that means the beauty of Krishna's smile, the sweetest feature among all the features of Krishna. His smile is like a full moon that spreads its rays throughout the three worlds: Golok Vrindavan, the spiritual sky of Vaikuntha, and Devi Dham, the material world. Thus Krishna's shining beauty spreads in all 10 directions. So everywhere Krishna's beauty is spread. This is how a devotee sees. I think once Srila Prabhupada told that the flower represents Krishna's beautiful smile. So anything we see beautiful in this world, we should think it's Krishna's smile. It's all pervasive. Okay, now comes the interesting thing. That so much nectar is there in Krishna's mouth, his smile. And that very nectar comes out in the form of flute, the vibrations of flute. So this is a very interesting verse. His slight smiling and fragrant illumination are compared to camphor, which enters the sweetness of his lips. That sweetness is transformed and enters into space as vibrations from the holes of his flute. So Krishna pours all his sweetness into the flute, and then the vibration spreads everywhere. So the vibrations of Krishna's flute is nothing but Krishna's sweetness, madhurya, which is coming out in the form of his flute. Dhvani rupe, in the form of dhvani, in the form of sound, Krishna's beauty is coming out, his sweetness. Se dhvani chaudhuke dhaya, anda bhidi vaikuntayaya, bole paise jagatera kahane, sava mato yalo kari, balatkare ane dhari, visheshata yuvati ragane. The sound of Krishna's flute spreads in the 4 directions. Even though Krishna vibrates his flute within this universe, its sound pierces the universal covering and goes to the spiritual sky. Thus the vibration enters the ears of all inhabitants. It especially enters Golok Vrindavan Dham and attracts the minds of the young damsels of Brajbhumi, bringing them forcibly to where Krishna is present. The vibration of Krishna's flute is very aggressive, and it breaks the vows of all chaste women. Indeed, its vibration makes them forcibly from the laps of their husbands. The vibration of his flute attracts even the goddess of fortune in the Vaikuntha planets, to say nothing of the poor damsels of Vrindavan. What to speak of living entities in this world? Even Lakshmi Devi, she becomes attracted by the flute of Krishna. Right? So in this way, there is a wonderful glorification of Krishna's flute. Okay. Now I'll read an interesting translation and purport. Now you may think that, okay, but we can't hear Krishna's flute. Can we hear Krishna's flute? Yes or no? Prabhupada will say now, secret, that how we all can hear Krishna's flute. Okay, let's read. The vibration of his flute is just like a bird that creates a nest within the ears of the gopis and always remains prominent there, not allowing any other sound to enter their ears. So poetic, huh? So Krishna's flute vibration is like a bird, and the gopis' ears are like nest. So the bird enters the nest of the gopis' ears and stay there. Indeed, the gopis cannot hear anything else, nor are they able to concentrate on anything else, not even to give a suitable reply. That means gopis are so much absorbed in Krishna's flute vibration, they can't hear anything else. Such are the effects of vibration of Lord Krishna's flute. Now you see Srila Prabhupada's beautiful purport. The vibration of Krishna's flute is always prominent in the ears of the gopis. Naturally, they cannot hear anything else. Constant remembrance of the holy sound of Krishna's flute keeps them enlightened and enlivened, and they do not allow any other sound to enter their ears. So the gopis are always enlivened and always enlightened by hearing Krishna's flute vibration. Since their attention is fixed on Krishna's flute, they cannot divert their minds to any other subject. In other words, a devotee who has heard the sound of Krishna's flute forgets to talk or hear of any other subject. This vibration of Krishna's flute is represented by, any guess? Srila Prabhupada is saying, this vibration of Krishna's flute is represented by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A serious devotee of the Lord who chants and hears this transcendental vibration becomes so accustomed to it that he cannot divert his attention to any subject matter not related to Krishna's blissful characteristics and paraphernalia. Such a beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada is saying, just like the gopis are so much absorbed in Krishna's flute vibration, so this flute vibration of Krishna is coming to all of us in the form of the holy names. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. So therefore, we should also absorb ourselves in hearing the Mahamantra. Prabhupada says, serious devotee of Lord, he becomes so accustomed to chanting and hearing the holy name that he doesn't want to hear anything else. So at least our aspiration can be that we can also come to this level where we just take pleasure in hearing Krishna's holy names, Krishna's pastimes. We don't want to hear any other thing. Like right now, we take interest in so many things, subject matters of sense gratification or prajalpa, talking about politics and so many things. But we should at least pray that maybe a day may come where we can become fully absorbed in hearing Krishna's names, his pastimes, which is non-different from Krishna's flute vibration. But it will not come in one day. We have to prepare ourselves for this. We have to follow strictly the process of Vedi Sadhan Bhakti. And then, one day by Krishna's mercy, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, you see, this stage we cannot attain by our own endeavor, no. It will come only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. But from our part, we have to follow the process of Vedi Sadhan Bhakti properly. So today is also the beginning of Chaturmas, the first day of Chaturmas. It's a very important part of our Sadhan Bhakti. Vedi Sadhan Bhakti is to follow the Chaturmasya Vrata. So let me read a purport by Srila Prabhupada. See, the devotees have various ideas about Chaturmas. You know, sometimes we feel that there is no need to follow Chaturmas. So some devotees come in that category. Some devotees, they become very fanatic about Chaturmas and they start, following many rules, regulations, which some Vaishnavas do. We should not criticize, but at least that is not the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Like some devotees, they grow long beard and we should not criticize them. But we must understand that what is Srila Prabhupada's mood for Chaturmas, the essence of Chaturmas. So in one of the purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada writes that this Chaturmasya, Mas means month and Chatur means 4. So this Chaturmasya period begins in the month of Ashad from the day of Ekadashi, called Shayana Ekadashi. We had 4 days before. And ends in Kartik in Uthan Ekadashi. So that is one way of calculating. From the Ekadashi of Ashad month to the Ekadashi, second Ekadashi of Kartik month, 4 months. Or Srila Prabhupada says, some Vaishnavas observe from Purnima of Ashad month, which was yesterday, that is from today, till the last day of Kartik, which is Kartik Purnima. Last day of every month is called Purnima. Like the last day of Kartik month is Kartik Purnima. The last day of Ashad, we say Ashad Purnima, which was yesterday, Guru Purnima. This basically 4 months, whether you calculate from Ekadashi to Ekadashi or from Purnima to Purnima. Normally in our ISKCON calendar, we say Purnima to Purnima. So that means our Chaturmas starts from today. So the first month is Shravan, second month is Bhadra, they say Bhadra or Bhadav, then Ashwin and then Kartik. There are 4 months. I don't remember the names of all the 12 months, but we should know as per Vedic calendar. So at least 4 months names somehow we can remember. Shravan, Bhadra, Ashwin and Kartik. So these 4 months, and Bhadra month we have all the wonderful festivals of Janmashtami, Balram Jayanti. Balram Jayanti is the last day of Shravan month. Then in the month of Bhadra we have Janmashtami and Radhashtami, 2 wonderful amazing festivals. And then we have Ashwin, in which we have Dashera, Navaratri, etc. And then comes the most glorious month of Kartik, which is so important for all of us. So this period of 4 months is called Chaturmasya, Prabhupada explains. And then Srila Prabhupada says, Chaturmasya should be observed by all sections of the population. He says all sections of population. Not only he is saying that brahmacharis, sannyasi, all devotees, all population, Prabhupada is saying. Wow. It doesn't matter whether one is a grihastha or a sannyasi. The observance is obligatory for all ashramas, for everyone. The real purpose, okay, here comes the point. The real purpose behind the vow taken during these 4 months is to minimize the quantity of sense gratification. So what is the essence of Chaturmas Vrat? To minimize sense gratification. That is the essence. To increase our Krishna conscious activities and to minimize activities of sense gratification. This is not very difficult. So Prabhupada makes a very simple formula. In the month of Shravan, we should not eat spinach or any form of shak. In the month of Bhadra, one should not eat yogurt, dahi. Second month. In the month of Ashwin, one should not drink milk. One should not eat fish or other non-vegetarian food during the month of Kartik. And then Prabhupada explains, a non-vegetarian diet means fish and meat. Similarly, Masoor dal and Urad dal are also considered non-vegetarian. So these 2 dal, because they are very rich with protein, Urad dal and Masoor dal. These 2 dals contain a great amount of protein, and food rich in protein is considered non-vegetarian. On the whole, during the 4-month period of Chaturmasya, one should practice giving up all food intended for sense enjoyment. So the spirit behind Chaturmasya is that we should reduce our sense gratification, and Srila Prabhupada kept it very simple. These 4 months we avoid. First month we don't take spinach. Second month no yogurt. Third month no milk. And 4th month no moong dal and urad dal. And we must increase our Krishna conscious activities, Shravanam Kirtanam. We can try to chant some extra rounds. We can take some vows to read more. But our seva, normal seva should go on. Along with that, so the time in the day is fixed. So we should not say that in the name of Chaturmasya trying to reduce our services. No. Whatever services assigned, we should do that. But reduce the time of our bodily demands like eating, sleeping. So all this time we try to reduce. And devote that time for more Krishna conscious activities like more hearing, more reading, more chanting, etc. So that's the main essence of Chaturmas, that we should decrease sense gratification and increase Krishna conscious activities. We see many important pastimes related to Chaturmas, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went for South India Yatra, where he stayed during Chaturmas? Venkata Bhatta's house in Srirangam. And that's where he met Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So usually sadhus, they normally travel throughout the entire year. But these 4 months, they don't travel as per custom. And one of the reason is because it's, of course nowadays it doesn't rain so much, but earlier it used to rain a lot. Even now in some parts of India it's raining a lot. So it's very difficult to travel when it rains. Earlier sadhus used to walk. It was very difficult to walk during rainy season. Therefore, so both purpose. So 4 months they're supposed to sit down at one ashram and intensify their bhajan, sadhana. Hear more Bhagavatam, read more Bhagavatam, chant more. So that was traditionally the custom. Of course nowadays we have sadhus don't walk, so there is no need to sit in one place. We can continue with our preaching activities. But the essence of Chaturmas is what once again? Reduce sense gratification and increase our Krishna conscious activities. Similarly we find in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni, the famous story, he served the Bhakti Vedantas during the month of Chaturmas. Because otherwise the sannyasis, they don't stay in one place more than 1 or 2 days, 3 days. But during Chaturmas, they stay in one ashram. So Narad Muni, when he was a small child, so his mother was going to that ashram to do seva, and for 4 months, all the sadhus, they stayed there. Like we have some retreat program, right, where devotees get together. So they had a 4 months, Chaturmas, get together for all the sadhus. And there, small Narad Muni, small boy, used to go and serve them, hear from them, take their remnants. And just by associating for the sadhus for only 4 months, that small boy became such a great devotee, Narad Muni, one of the greatest Vaishnavas. So very important auspicious period starting from today. So we can all at least take some small vows, at least this avoiding these 4 things in 4 months, and being more strict in our sadhana. So the spirit is very important. We should reduce sense gratification and increase Krishna conscious activities. So that's all I wanted to share. So we discuss about Krishna's wonderful flute. And what did we hear? We can hear Krishna's flute through Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada says the sound of Krishna's flute is represented by Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let us absorb ourselves in Mahamantra, and especially during this Chaturmasya period. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions or comments? Anything? Okay, thank you all very much. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.